Okay, I get Moed Simon Shin Yud Base, so we're up to Sif Gimel. Sif Dalet. Sif Dalet. Shin Yud Base, Sif Dalet. So we'll just go through quickly the final halachas about the halachas of a bathroom and muktzah on Shabbos. Lo yitalsel regev adom lekaneach, but a person shouldn't take a clump of earth to wipe himself. Because it's going to crumble. It's like it's a clump of earth, and therefore it will just crumble, and therefore it's not fitting. It's not suitable for purpose. But also lekanech becheres, you shouldn't wipe yourself with a cheres afilu bechol, even during the week. Mishum sakona, it's sharp. Shelo yenatek shinei hakarkashto, you might cause some internal damage. Pirush hame'ayim hatluim bepiat habas, the various tendons connected to the rectum that you might cause damage. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Yudalad, She'enu Rili Kinuach Rotzalema, you can't use a clump of earth, Alkein also tiltel beduchtukoi, and therefore, since it's not good for wiping yourself, therefore the Issa tiltel stays in place. Okay, and therefore you shouldn't use it. Sif Hey, Hoyu Lefonov, so you've got some straw and you've got the handles of a kli cheres, which are smooth. The kiven the chalokim, since they're smooth, leka mishum sakona. There's no concern of sakona. They're not sharp and you're not going to cause any damage. Mekanech ba'izn acheres, you can use that to wipe. She'uroi lechasas boi pia kli, because it's not muksa, because you could use it to cover a kli. Tzrev asovim and straw and grass. Yikanech basovim him lachim. You can use grass if they're wet. Avol be aveshim if they're dry. Ein mekanachim v'nei sheim chadim, because they could be sharp, and again it could cause damage. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Tezvav, the chalokim heim, the beinum chalokim, if they're not cholok, they're not smooth, yesh chasak sakona b'dov, then it's dangerous. Mutav yosel likanech b'tzur afshir muksa. Better to use a tzur even though it's muksa, because sakona is more of a concern. Leka mishum sakona, but if it's smooth, then we're not worried about sakona. V'afta dan yesh b'zeh chashash k'shofim, even though we could allow Siman Gimel, way back in Siman Gimel, in Hilchos Beis HaKisei, we said that there's a concern of kshofim, but still, that doesn't push aside the muktzah concern of the tzra, because at the end of the day, if you've got a cheres you can use, which is not muktzah, especially because the Ramah says nowadays we're not really worried about kshofim. Because the grass is not muktzah. Avol beivation, but dried grass, we're worried about sakana, they're sharp and it might cause damage. Ela yikanech, but tzrar after muktzah, better in that, because of sakana, better to use a tzrar, which even though it's muktzah, to avoid using anything which is sharp and could cause damage. Issa de Gemara, mutzah lefanas achari hageder to stay chaver. You're allowed to relieve yourself in the behind the fence in your friend's field, and you can take a tzur to wipe even b'Shabbos. But don't take a stone from the fence, even a thick fence, where you're not making a hole, but by taking off a stone from the fence, it looks like it's soser, you're demolishing a fence. Vav, you're allowed to use wet grass for kinuach, even if it's still attached to the ground. So long you don't move them, you don't pull them. And using things which are mechuba, that's not a problem. Mechuba is only a problem when it comes to ilon, a tree, but not a yerek. Says the Mishnah Berurah Yudhes, shelo yizizem hainu shelo yishmot eisam makom chiburim mipshum tlisha. Make sure you don't detach the grass if you are using grass for kinuach. Zayin. If a person needs the bathroom but is not able to go, the way you do it is you agitate the piat habas, and you sort of agitate it with a straw or something, and then that it opens the nekev, the rectum. Don't do that on Shabbos like you would do during the chol, the weekday. That you hold the tzra with your whole hand, because you might come to again cause some internal damage by removing Hasharas nimin. You might remove some hairs, and that's from a tlisha. And lemashish klachiyad, you do it with a shinui. How's the shinui? You hold the tzura with 2 fingers as opposed to the whole hand, and that's the shinui. Says the Mishnah Berurah, mishum hasharas nimin, to hu bichlal toilish, removing some sort of hairs there is a problem of toilish. Even though that's not your intention, psik reishu alidei Hashem mishmush. It's still a problem because it's psik reisha. Lo yimashmish b'tzura shel hakinuach. You shouldn't touch lo yimashmish b'tzura shel hakinuach lachalikai, to make it smooth, shel yisaret b'sari, that it shouldn't scratch your skin. Kaderech shu eisa b'chol mishum mamachik. There's an issue there of mamachik. You do it just with this shinu. I hold it with two of your fingers as opposed to the whole hand. Mashmesh benachas, do it gently, so it avoids hasharas nimin. Okay, ches. Lemashmesh bebarza b'piatabas dina katsur. Using some metal has got the same din of a tzur, i.e., you do a shinui. Shaloich zena b'shtei etzba'os, if you hold it with 2 fingers, but also lot says bebarza afilu tchuva kula baguf. Don't hold, and it's also to go out with this barza, which you're using, to wipe yourself, even if it's attached to your body, fully inside you. Says the Mishnah Berurah Chof Beis, Lemashmish Barza, Pirush Shel Eitz. You've got this berez, this I see, it's a wooden one. V'huadin the psila, even if it also too if it's psila shekar in sepel shemachnisim b'piatabas, you sort of you insert it. K'moshim avur b'soif siman shin chavches. Afilu tzuchuva shekimin shemachnisa todir k'dei lachsav lotzia ena b'teles alaguf. Since it's not there for permanent storage, as it were, you're going to take it in and out, and therefore it's not bottled to the guf. Arizeh k'moitzi b'piv v'marak b'y da'osim d'retzofim. It's like being motzi b'piv. You're taking out with you in your mouth. You're doing hotzah by carrying something in your mouth, or b'marapapaga in your elbow, which is a problem of midrabon of carrying. Avodova habolua baguf mutalot seisbeb. Something which is fully internal in your body. Kagain livlei margolis oizov lot seisbeb shesarabim. That would be different, but still we don't allow this because it's not bottled to the guf. Okay, Tess. Also liponis besode near b'Shabbos. You're not allowed to defecate in a field which has been ploughed. Shemayovel ashri gumas. You're worried about the field, and therefore you might come to be meshave gumas to equalize, to level out the field. V'im hoya sot stei chaver, and if it's your friend's field, even during the week, it's a problem. By you entering his field, you're walking over his ploughed field, and you can ruin it. So you've got a choshen mishpat problem as opposed to a Shabbos problem. Says the Mishnah Berurah Chof Daled near. It's a field which has been ploughed and is ready to be sown. And you can find sometimes little ditches and clumps of earth. You might find clumps of earth and fill in the holes, and that's a problem on Shabbos. Because the rule is, if you've got a hole, you've got a ditch in the field, or tmama, and you fill it up, or the alternative, gav shushis, you've got a little mound on a tunnel, you take it away. But bayis chayv mishum boine, in a house, in an earthen floor, you've got a problem of boine, shemesakin abayis bekach, and besod chayv mishum cherish. That is a problem of cherish. So therefore, we don't allow you to do it in a field which has been ploughed. Shari hishva bezes pnei akarka, you're going to level out the level of the ground. V'yeh tov l'zriya, and it will make it better for sowing. Okay, let's just finish the simon. Yud avonim gedolos, large stones. Shemetzadin oison kamin moishav cholol. So you're trying to make like a toilet. You're trying to make a seat for you to sit on. So you've got 2 sides where you put them, insert them into the ground, and you sit on top of that. So avonim gedolos shemetzadin oison kamin moishav cholol. And there's designated in the field that you're going to sit on that for a Beis HaKisei. Mutal tzadadon, you're allowed to do that. Va'afagav the binyan arayhu, even though it's a temporary binyan. Lo goz b'rabonon mishum kavod habrius. So to do that would be allowed because of kavod habrius. Says the Mishnah Berurah Chof Hei, avonim gedolos. Yeshomrim dafkim hoyu avonim muchanim mikvar lezeh. That some say that you have to designate these stones before before Shabbos, because the whole het to use stones is for kinuach, that they allow Mimnei Kavod Abrius. But there are those who say for you to actually construct a bathroom, a toilet itself, they need to be designated before Shabbos. Let's sadadon. So you put a stone on each side and then you sit on top of it. But to put a stone on top of that, al shtehen, also mishum oihel, that is a problem of oihel, because when you're putting two sides, then you put the stone on top with the hole, I guess, in the middle, that is a problem of oihel. After oil arahu, even though it's a temporary oil, they allow you to make a temporary oil by putting a thing on top of it. Okay, say that ends the halachas of Beis HaKisei on Shabbos and Hilchos Muktzah.